Alright guys, I'm going to give you the breakdown on this and why it is absolutely atrocious to our military families and the person serving our military. This is actually coming from popularmilitary.com. The general in charge of this is actually saying that he has no idea how they're going to make the meals gender neutral. So he's not even a part of that process to know whether or not it's going to be safe or not, or to make the men all weepy when they're supposed to be, enraged and ready to blow the heads off the enemy when they storm the compound. A corporal testing these have actually reported that it's like opening an empty package. What this is actually saying, ladies and gentlemen, is horrifying. I mean, it does say that the packaging is going to be BPA free, and basically it's going to be U.S. organic from U.S. organic sources, among other. But you really get into the real situation, folks. It's going to be like 1 pound less than the current MREs. The shelf life is going to go from 3 years. Going to be like life of 3 years instead of the 7 years of previous rations. The guy in charge of this is Brigadier General A.J. Publick, 501st Sustainment Brigade, Fort Blanda, Texas. He basically comes out and says, not to mention, they have fewer calories. When asked how food could be gender neutral, Publick said he was unsure and surmises that it involves meals, lack of hot dogs and tuna. And he basically said definitely no more meatballs and spaghetti, so no more heavy carbs for those Arctic guys that rely on those 5,000 a day, or 5,000 every 4 hour, 5,000 calorie plus, meals every 4 hours or so on those Arctic missions or those cold voyages. So they're going to have to eat more of less, even in the MREs, and no doubt this food's going to eventually find its way into the mess hall. As you know, when the government uses one vendor for one thing, they end up using it for all. Troops evaluating the meals, however, told a different story. You might as well open an empty package, exclaimed Corporal Richard Scarfolk of 1st Cavalry Division. I can't sustain myself on lentils and dried pepper jerky. Where's the beef stew, the Tootsie Roll, and my beef jerky? Check your privilege. Scarfolk injected in SSG Dana Futanari, who re-entered the military recently after a ban on transgender was lifted. So when they can't sustain themselves, when these people are saying, I can't sustain myself on this, they're told to check their privilege. Folks, I hate to tell you this, but no military is going to be able to march on its stomach on meals like this. This is ridiculous. The new meals are expected to cost $3.2 million in extra costs in full production by 2022. And troops evaluating the meals say you're going to be opening an empty package, exclaimed Corporal Richard Scarfolk of the 1st Cavalry Division, saying, I can't sustain myself on this. Where's my beef stew? Where's my Tootsie Roll? Where's my... And when he complains, what do they say? Check your privilege, Scarfolk. I'm sorry, when you're being told you need to run miles and do various things like that, and you open an empty package, and you say that you can't sustain yourself on the meal, you're being told to check your privilege? That's bullshit, folks. Absolute terrorism. You want to know who's running our country's military? The enemy at this point. Shit. Can you imagine that? Being told you gotta go fight the enemy on all kinds of crazy different food and watching half your men probably drop dead of any number of reasons because the food they're preparing is so specifically bad they can no longer form and function to take the enemy's stronghold, and probably turning themselves into the enemy would probably, in better circumstances, give them better food. I mean, this is absolute atrocity, folks. This is absolute terrorism. I mean, look at this. Look. These troops were evaluating the meals, right? They were evaluating them. Look at this. And basically they said, you open an empty package, and they said, I can't sustain myself on this. And basically says lentils and dried pepper jerky. And basically saying, I can't sustain myself, and then they're saying, check your privilege. So you're going to starve to death, check your privilege. I would have smacked that person right in the fucking face, and I would have put him under arrest, like, fuck you. Then they're calling him chauvinistic and crude, and saying you don't get to oppress everyone with your chauvinistic and crude menu choices. I completely agree with that. But this transgender SSG needs to check her fucking privileges, or its fucking privileges. That is just retarded. You were telling me that and I was evaluating meals? I'd say, look, you want me to run 5 miles, you wanted me to take the enemy fort, you want me to do all this shit? Guess what? It's not my fucking privilege, you little... And then I would go off and say, fuck you. You want to toss me in Leavenworth because you asked me to do something and I'm giving you my honest opinion that does not meet with what your government has told you I should believe? Fuck you. I'm not going to starve to death before I take the goddamn enemy fort. Even though that's not what we do anymore. We give in to the fucking enemy. The banks run the enemy the whole fucking time. We're just here to parade for them. Our military is not about taking the fort anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time, and now they're trying to make it gender-neutral vegan. I'm all for BPA-free packaging and biodegradable. That's cool. And I agree that it shouldn't contain environmentally harmful, flameful ration heaters, yada, yada, yada. You guys get the idea here. But the idea that they're not being told what gender neutral is in their food is bad. You need the fighting spirit, and that comes from your food. An army marches on its stomachs. All products as well basically will have an omission of gluten, and all products as well as artificial preservatives, fine. I mean, this is no longer about this, folks. This is about the government doing all kinds of crazy shit, and then being told, check your privilege. No, this is not about privilege. You want my men to work on these foods as the MREs, and no doubt you're going to put the same style of food eventually in the kitchens come 2022. And then half our men are going to end up dead of, in survival instances where the foods aren't going to make the 5,000 to 10,000 calories a day diet. They're going to all be weepy and cry-eyed because they don't have the hormones necessary to sustain themselves, and it's just going to be a cluster. This is bull. Anyone who agrees to allow this type of stuff in the military should resign. I mean, how General or Brigadier General, let's see, where's his name at? Brigadier General A.J. Publick got this command of the 501st Sustainment Brigade in Fort Blanda, Texas. I don't know. But he should have said, look, if my men can't sustain themselves on this, you have no point putting this forward to my people. I'm not going to watch my men die. So you can have your gender neutral shit. My men are here to be warriors and ass kickers. If you don't like it, get the fuck out and resign. And take your ungodly, unholy ass tactics with you. But he didn't. Probably because he's one of them. I'll be honest, I got family members in the military. I find out this is ruining their bodies, I'm going to be on base kicking somebody's ass, probably. I doubt it. But I definitely wouldn't mind stopping by and bitching somebody out. Especially if they get hurt in a combat area, I find out it's due to the meals they're eating. Oh yeah, I'd raise some hell real fucking quick. Oh, you're a civilian, you wouldn't even be allowed in the military base. Yep. Well, you're cutting the amount of people in the military, now you're cutting the calories and the food, making it to where they have empty packages full of food they cannot sustain them, and then you're telling them check your privilege? You might as well be in the damn enemy unit as a POW. Shit, that's ridiculous, folks. That is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you.